With every new chapter, the Boruto series is getting closer to the time skip. Still, there is no sign of a totally new dojutsu making its way to the manga. Recently, Boruto got turned into an Otsutsuki by Momoshiki, and it could be a hint that the time for the Jougan to make its manga debut is just around the corner. Today, we'll be discussing the role of Momoshiki in revealing the pure eye to Boruto and the aftermath of this major event. Subscribe for more content like this, and let's begin. Boruto's story has been foreshadowing the Jougan from the very first episode. I have already discussed why its debut is being delayed in the manga, and today I have come up with another good theory. Chapter 67 was the turning point in Boruto's life, as he was given a new life in the form of an Otsutsuki. After serving as Momoshiki's vessel for way too long, Boruto's fate turned him into an Otsutsuki, as Momoshiki didn't want to erase his own existence by the death of Boruto. Back when Momoshiki predicted Boruto's future being dark, he must have already learned the fact that he will be the one who's gonna save Boruto at sometime in the future. Still, Momoshiki tried to change the destiny, but ultimately failed after Kawaki attacked Boruto with killing intent. The death of the vessel means total eradication of an Otsutsuki. Momoshiki didn't want things to go like this, so at the cost of giving up on his own revival, he resurrected Boruto in order to stay inside of him as a soul. There is no way Momoshiki would have revived Boruto without seeing his own benefit in it. So rather than facing death, he is now watching things as a third person from Boruto's consciousness. It's like Boruto's life is a movie that Momoshiki is now enjoying. Now here's where the twist comes. Boruto's already on his way of falling victim to the predictions that Momoshiki and Toneri made about him. Toneri telling Boruto he will be the key to enlighten the world again with the pure Otsutsuki power that resides in his right eye, aka the Jougan. And Momoshiki telling Boruto that he is destined to lose everything because of his blue eyes. Whether both of these prophecies are referring to the same thing or not is a theory for another time. Let's figure out what turn the things are gonna take to make Boruto aware of his pure eye, the Jougan. I think the Boruto series could have an arc just before the time skip that will totally focus on the Jougan and how Boruto learns to use it at will. In the prologue scene, Kawaki still decides to fight Boruto even though he has unlocked the Jougan in his right eye. I think it's probably because Boruto hasn't mastered this dojutsu yet, otherwise Kawaki won't be taking a risk by deciding to go against the blue Kama wielder. The question that needs to be answered here is that what went wrong between Boruto and Kawaki in the first place? So here's what I think. Boruto and Kawaki right now are the strongest beings alive in the entire shinobi world. Kawaki must have realized this, and he could have wanted to use it as an opportunity to bring a revolution in the land of shinobis. The abolishment of the shinobi system could be his main goal, and he must have reached Boruto to help him in executing his plan. But as we know from the prologue scene, Boruto refused the offer, and Kawaki got so driven by his desire that he destroyed the Konoha village and sent the citizens to some new place. The awakening of the Jougan must have taken place during the first phase of the Boruto-Kawaki fallout. Even though both of them had Otsutsuki level potential, Boruto was still no match for Kawaki, as he had been formally trained by Jigen, while Boruto had no experience in utilizing his Otsutsuki powers. Boruto must have realized this, and it could have left him in a state of grief for a sheer amount of time. His so-called brother Kawaki was about to take the biggest step in shinobi history, and the thing that made Boruto feel guilty was that there was nothing he could do. It seemed to Boruto that Momoshiki's prophecy was turning true, and that was the time when he had a one-on-one conversation with Momoshiki again. Momoshiki, who had been living inside of Boruto's consciousness, told him that this despair isn't the final destination. He is about to witness everything turning to dust. His loved ones shall be taken away from him. The world he is living in is going to have a complete makeover, and that too by someone he called his brother. This couldn't be worse than a betrayal, but there is still hope left if one believes. Momoshiki then tells Boruto the real reason he chose him as his vessel, and that was to complete the prophecy of a kid who will revolutionize the Otsutsuki realm with the help of the power which resides in his right eye, and that child is none other than Boruto himself. Momoshiki then tells Boruto that there resides the power of an Otsutsuki god in his right eye, and if he learns to utilize it correctly, he could easily take on Kawaki and all the other dangers that he's about to face in the future. Momoshiki then adds some words to the statement that Toneri said to Boruto earlier. His eye was a star of hope for this world and the universe as well. Upon hearing the speech of Momoshiki, Boruto felt a weird sensation in his right eye. It was the Jougan, the pure eye that had returned. The reason Boruto wasn't able to lay his hands on this pure power earlier could be because he was still in his human form back then, and only an Otsutsuki can handle the prowess of the Jougan. Boruto then went rogue for a few years to train his Jougan, and he must have met Sasuke a couple of times since he's seen with his stuff in the prologue scene. Boruto's Otsutsuki powers must have helped him a lot in learning and utilizing the powers of his Jougan. During the fight of the Hokage mountain, Boruto still doesn't have the master control of the Jougan, or maybe Kawaki isn't aware of its true potential. The fight would only end up in Boruto ranking up its dojutsu's capability, and it could have an even bigger role sometime in the future.